For years, Last Man Standing was the comforting ritual that united families every Friday night. In living rooms across America, viewers tuned in for the belly laughs, the heartfelt moments, and a central character who felt like a wise, stubborn friend. But gradually, something unsettling began to crack that warm foundation. One by one, the show's most familiar faces drifted away, replaced by fresh faces who never quite captured the original magic. Ratings wobbled, fan forums buzzed with confusion, and even die-hard loyalists found themselves asking the same burning question: why did our favorite characters vanish? Was it creative clashes behind closed doors? Money disputes? Or a deeper, more surprising truth that defied the sitcom mold? To understand the real story, we have to rewind almost a decade. In 2011, after a lengthy absence from primetime television, Tim Allen boldly returned as Mike Baxter, a no-nonsense dad with conservative convictions and a secret vulnerability. He had walked away from offers that promised him a cool $1 million per episode. He declined sine die. Yet when Jack Burdett pitched him this pilot, Allen sensed something different, an opportunity to evolve his signature everyman persona into a modern family icon. The deal sealed the deal, executive producing power alongside his starring role. That creative control would become a double-edged sword, sowing seeds for later on-screen power struggles that mirrored real-life tensions. To ABC pitched Last Man Standing as the heir to All in the Family, banking on a provocative patriarch whose political rants would spark laughter and debate. Slotted on Friday nights, a graveyard for most shows, it defied odds by hauling in over 13 million curious viewers on premiere night. Week after week, the Baxter clan felt like a digital-age Norman Rockwell painting, complete with moral tussles and witty retorts. For 6 seasons, it thrived, until the unthinkable happened. In 2017, with ratings still hovering above 8 million per episode, ABC pulled the plug. The shockwaves hit fast. Fans flooded social media with disbelief, branded hashtags like #SaveLMS, and even mailed toy tools to executive offices. Rumors swirled that Tim Allen's unapologetic commentary on late-night television had ruffled feathers in the writer's room and boardroom alike. Producers pointed to seismic shifts away from family sitcoms toward fantasy and sci-fi, while analysts cited prohibitive episode costs, Allen's salary, studio fees, and a rising per-episode price tag. Yet beneath these business headlines lay human stories of actors facing abrupt career crossroads. Contract negotiations turned sour, and creative visions diverging from network mandates. At the heart of this unraveling were pivotal cast changes that fans either mourned or never fully embraced. It began with the Baxter daughters. Alexandra Krosny dazzled as Kristen, the feisty teen mom navigating grocery store aisles and first dates. But after season 1, whispers of creative differences masked a more calculated motive, a cosmetic tweak to add age credibility and introduce fresh political sparring. Amanda Fuller stepped in, older and sharper, yet her chemistry with Allen never quite matched the electric familiarity viewers remembered. Then came a surprising guest star moment when teen idol Nick Jonas popped up as Ryan Vogelson, the long-absent father of young Boyd. With a nervous grin and teenage jitters, he stumbled into the Baxter living room, delivering a holiday greeting that fans barely recognized. The cameo generated buzz across social platforms, driving curious clicks. Yet behind closed doors, producers lamented the fleeting impact. It was a stunt rather than a substantial arc, lacking the depth needed to become a lasting part of the Baxter saga. Jonas's version of Ryan felt like an appetizer that left viewers definitely hungry for more. When showrunner Tim Doyle stepped in for season 2, he aimed to salvage that dangling storyline. Doyle's vision transformed Ryan Vogelson from a forgettable cameo into a thematic centerpiece. Alexandra Krosny's Kristen Baxter subplot had faded, but this reboot targeted ideological tension. Jordan Masterson donned the role, his gruff sincerity and rakish wit giving spark to razor-sharp debates. Writers pitted progressivism against conservatism, staging verbal sparring sessions around dinner tables. Debate topics ranged from environmental policy to generational divides. The recast breathed fresh life into what began as a one-off. By mid-season, Ryan Vogelson was boldly challenging Mike Baxter's worldview. In May 2017, ABC shocked audiences by canceling Last Man Standing despite solid ratings well above 8 million viewers per episode. Industry insiders blamed rising production expenses, including Tim Allen's increasing salary and steep studio fees. Others whispered that ideological clashes had colored decision-making, citing Allen's late-night jibes at Hollywood culture. Fans erupted in protest, igniting the viral hashtag #SaveLMS movement, flooding social media with impassioned pleas and fan art. Petition signatures soared into the hundreds of thousands, and grassroots advocates even purchased billboards in key cities. That groundswell demonstrated the truly unprecedented power viewers wield when united by shared nostalgia. Sensing an electrifying opportunity, Fox swooped in later that year to resurrect the Baxter clan, investing roughly $50 million in a high-stakes network revival. Writers faced a compressed timeline, hammering out scripts in just a few months while reconstructing demolished sets from the ground up. Premiering in September on Fox's Friday lineup, the show maintained its familiar vibe but embraced modern production demands, including tight pandemic-era protocols that occasionally paused filming. Behind the camera, negotiations balanced cost containment with creative freedom, preserving Mike Baxter's sardonic charm and the family's razor-sharp political banter while adapting to new strict network expectations. Although the revival rekindled loyal viewership, not every original face could return. Molly Ephraim, beloved as Mandy Baxter for 6 seasons, had moved on to film projects, prompting producers to reimagine the role with Molly McCook. Rather than disguise the transition, scripts leaned into humor, joking about facial differences and fashion obsessions. Meanwhile, Caitlin Dever's Eve Baxter took an Air Force Academy detour, her sporadic video appearances deftly woven into season arcs. These strategies showcased the team's willingness to acknowledge change transparently, transforming potential backlash into storytelling fuel, reminding fans that evolution can boldly honor legacy, truly forging new paths. The arrival of Season 8 brought Last Man Standing face-to-face with unprecedented challenges, chief among them, the COVID-19 pandemic. Filming that once flowed effortlessly through familiar studio corridors now stuttered under strict health protocols. Entire episodes were sometimes written to accommodate actors' quarantine windows, scenes trimmed to solo monologues, split-screen conversations shot from home, or stitched together b-roll of empty neighborhoods. Yet, even in isolation, the Baxter family's core dynamic held firm. Mike's sardonic one-liners remained razor-sharp. Mandy's fashion-forward wardrobe still popped against the Baxter living room's muted tones, and Eve's video call check-ins felt eerily prescient for an audience enduring their own lockdown separations. What could have fractured the revival instead fueled a deeper bond between show and viewer, proof that resourcefulness and heart can overcome literal walls. Behind the scenes, budget considerations loomed as large as any virus. Fox's initial $50 million gamble on the revival grew to a complex calculus. $1.1 million per episode in production costs, an elevated salary for Tim Allen close to $235,000 an episode, and new expenditures for sanitization, PP, and staggered call sheets. To counterbalance these outlays, Fox negotiated streaming deals selling Last Man Standing's new seasons to Hulu and CMT at roughly $1.50 million per episode. International distribution rights and lucrative ad partnerships padded the bottom line. Still, each dollar saved or spent tracked against shaky forecasts for live viewership in an era where DVR delays and streaming premieres rewrote the ratings playbook. Amid the pandemic thrall, cast departures rippled through the Baxter household once more. Molly Ephraim, whose Mandy Baxter had been a steady foil to Mike's gruff warmth, was now permanently recast as Molly McCook's effervescent vision of the youngest Baxter daughter. Early social media backlash, #NotMyMandy, trended briefly, gave way to genuine respect once McCook's talent shone through nuanced storylines about pregnancy, design school drop-ins, and forging independent identity. Similarly, Caitlin Dever's Eve Baxter, having soared to Golden Globe buzz off camera, appeared only sporadically. Writers cleverly explained her Air Force Academy service as both narrative convenience and a poignant source of pride, her silences echoing louder than her screen time. These calculated absences and shifts never felt like afterthoughts, but intentional evolutions, stories of growth rather than loss. Even as the show leaned into these new arcs, whispers of a final curtain grew louder. Despite averaging solid 8+ million live viewers, remarkable for any sitcom, let alone a post-pandemic Friday slot, Fox decided Season 9 would be the last. Official statements cited an industry pivot towards streaming exclusive content and a desire to allocate budgets differently. Cast and crew were blindsided yet buoyed by the knowledge that creative teams had already teased a 10th season blueprint, including the intriguing concept of Outdoor Woman, with Amanda Fuller's Kristen Baxter taking the reins of the family's Outdoor Man enterprise. Behind the scenes, scripts for 2 additional episodes lay half-written, guest stars lined up to reprise fan-favorite roles, and even a holiday special was drafted before budget lines decisively shifted elsewhere. This final shutdown brought the series full circle, from the abrupt 2017 ABC cancellation that rallied fans into a grassroots force, to a final season that embraced change with transparent humor, and ultimately, to a farewell that felt purposeful rather than forced. In classic Baxter style, Episode 9 wrapped with a family barbecue framed by Mike's wry reflections on legacy, shifting values, and the unbreakable bonds that define home. Gone were worries about ratings dips or cast exoduses. What remained was laughter, tears, and a collective exhale from loyal viewers who'd watched the Baxter family evolve through every twist. As the credits rolled, it became clear, Last Man Standing didn't just survive cast turnover and network battles. It thrived by weaving real-world upheavals into its fabric, leaving fans comforted by one simple truth. Some pillars, once torn down, can always be rebuilt stronger. While Last Man Standing ultimately closed its doors in a graceful cinematic-style farewell, the story of its cast roster offers a masterclass in how television, business, and human ambition often clash. Each departure was more than a missing face. It fueled viewer curiosity, sparked headlines, and breathed fresh life into an already evolving narrative. When Alexandra Krosny chose to move on after the first season, citing creative differences and an itch for more mature roles, viewers felt the grid shift. Her absence prompted Amanda Fuller's arrival, a strategic network decision that demonstrated how recasting can defy expectations and spark new creative energy. Fans fixated on every behind-the-scenes revelation as if tracking a detective novel, proving that speculation alone can be as engaging as the on-screen drama. Tim Allen's unwavering commitment to creative control set the tone for many of these changes. When he leveraged his executive producer status to shape storylines, he insulated Mike Baxter with authenticity. Yet that very authority sometimes sowed friction, whether in contract renewal negotiations or subtle disagreements about character arcs. Molly Ephraim's departure 2 seasons before the finale stemmed from her breakout success beyond the Baxter living room. She pursued films and miniseries that would challenge her acting range, ushering in Molly McCook's more lighthearted and fashion-focused Mandy. In each instance, the mechanics of show business, scheduling conflicts, salary negotiations, desire for professional growth, became a captivating subplot for viewers eager to anticipate each next move. Even transient appearances made waves. Nick Jonas's holiday cameo felt like a viral marketing masterstroke. Fans tuned in not merely for nostalgia, but for fear of missing a surprise twist. Jordan Masterson's transformation of Ryan Vogelson from a one-off cameo into a full-time ideological adversary highlighted how repurposing minor characters can yield unexpected dividends. By embedding production realities into storytelling, like Eve Baxter's remote Air Force Academy sequences filmed under pandemic restrictions, the show mirrored viewers' own real-world upheavals. This approach deepened emotional investment, as audiences recognized glimpses of their own lockdown experiences reflected in the Baxters' TV lives. Ultimately, Last Man Standing's approach to cast turnover underscores a fundamental truth in entertainment. Evolution fuels engagement. Every time a familiar face stepped away, the writers crafted arcs that honored the actor's choice while weaving new threads into the series' tapestry. Networks, producers, and fans alike learned that departures can become opportunities when balanced with transparent storytelling and a willingness to embrace change. The robin's egg blue walls of the Baxter home may have felt like a constant, yet behind them lay a dynamic ecosystem of creativity, negotiation, and audience consultation. As the credits roll on this nine-season odyssey, one undeniable reality remains. The true reason main characters left was never a singular cause, but a rich tapestry of artistic ambition, network strategy, and the ever-turning wheel of television storytelling. With every exit and entrance, Last Man Standing proved that enduring television thrives on reinvention rather than stasis. This revelation sets the stage for any series aspiring to capture both hearts and lasting headlines. In retrospect, the shifting Baxter lineup becomes a microcosm of modern television's balancing act between star power and narrative coherence. When an actor's footprint grows beyond the confines of one series, their departure can feel like an earthquake, shaking character dynamics to the core. Yet Last Man Standing avoided collapse by leaning into every exit as a storytelling springboard. Instead of glossing over absences, writers embraced them. Kristen Baxter's evolving maturity became a catalyst for multi-generational debate. Mandy's recasting underscored themes of identity and reinvention, and Eve's Air Force journey reflected broader questions of duty and distance. This deft approach turned potential liabilities into renewed viewer engagement. Fans who feared abrupt disruption found reassurance in transparent storytelling. This underlying philosophy also shaped promotional strategies and fan outreach, fueling the perception that every personnel shift represented a narrative revelation rather than mere casting logistics. Viewers tuned in not only for humor and heart, but to uncover the next layer of backstage intrigue. Podcasts and entertainment blogs dissected each episode release, trading theories about executive decisions and contract negotiations. In turn, the show's producers amplified that buzz by sharing curated Instagram stories and exclusive video diaries, effectively making the metamorphosis of the cast part of the series' metastory. Audiences rewarded this open-book approach with invigorated binge-watching and social media advocacy, proving that trust and transparency can be as valuable as any plot device. But beyond marketing and ratings, the heart of Last Man Standing's resilience lay in its cultural relevance. At a time when viewer fragmentation threatened network primetime, the Baxter family stood as a unifying symbol of spirited discourse. Whether debating generational values or clashing on camera about current events, the show mirrored polarization while reminding audiences that respect can outlast disagreement. This nuanced positioning gave each departure more emotional weight. When an original character left, fans saw not just a plot gap, but a missing voice in an ongoing cultural conversation. And when new talent stepped in, audiences were primed to listen for fresh perspectives, eager to see how the Baxter table would host the next ideological guest. Fans found renewed joy in each fresh, unfolding twist. As series finales go, Last Man Standing delivered a farewell rich in thematic closure. Mike Baxter's final monologue acknowledged that families grow, friends move on, and belief systems evolve, yet shared tables and open doors remain a constant. He paid tribute to the actors who had left, weaving flashbacks into the speech to honor memories while recognizing change as a force for narrative vitality. The episode's emotional apex didn't hinge on a single face or storyline, but on a universal truth. Departure and arrival are two sides of the same coin in life's ongoing saga. By the credits, viewers felt both nostalgia for vanished voices and optimism for new chapters yet unwritten. No matter how many Mahoney sisters came or went, the essence of the Baxters endured, offering a blueprint for shows navigating cast changes. These lessons echo far beyond one sitcom. Indeed, always adaptable. In the end, Last Man Standing's cast departures revealed deeper truths about storytelling resilience and audience engagement. No single reason can fully explain why beloved characters leave a series. Instead, departures result from intertwining factors such as creative evolution, contractual negotiations, changing personal priorities, and network strategies. Alexandra Krosny, Molly Ephraim, and Caitlin Deaver each sought growth beyond the Baxter living room, while Tim Allen's executive sway shaped story arcs. Behind each decision lies a human story of ambition, identity, and negotiation. By weaving these realities into its narrative, The show turned potential fractures into narrative fuel, giving fans honest context rather than platitudes. This approach underscores a fundamental shift in modern television. Audiences crave transparency. Gone are days when networks could quietly swap actors with no explanation. Now, viewers demand insight into casting logistics and creative directions, fueling podcasts, Twitter threads, and reaction videos. Last Man Standing met that demand by integrating cast changes into the plot. When Amanda Fuller replaced Alexandra Krosny, writers didn't ignore fan frustration. Instead, they pivoted, crafting new conflicts and fresh chemistry while acknowledging the switch in witty dialogue. The transparent recasting evolved each character naturally and harnessed social media discourse as a creative feedback loop, strengthening community connection. Financial realities also play a starring role. High production budgets, talent salaries, and network licensing fees often drive cancellation threats and recasting needs. Tim Allen's pay climbed over $200,000 an episode, studio overhead surged, and streaming rights sales became critical revenue sources. At ABC, these budget pressures contributed to the 2017 cancellation. At Fox, a $50 million revival bet hinged on cross-platform success. Each network's calculus shaped cast availability and script directions. Understanding these monetary forces sheds light on how and why characters vanish or reemerge. It's not just creative whim, but a precise business equation balancing cost, audience demand, and long-term licensing potential. Pandemic-era production hurdles magnified these challenges. Strict health protocols and quarantines required agile writing solutions, remote appearances, split-screen scenes, and isolated monologues. Caitlin Deaver's limited availability sparked video call arcs that felt authentic to viewers living lockdown realities. Molly McCook's seamless integration as Mandy exemplified rapid problem-solving, with dialogue referencing cosmetic shifts and on-screen jokes. These adaptive strategies transformed production constraints into compelling narrative tools. By mirroring societal disruption within its story, Last Man Standing sustained emotional resonance, proving that flexibility under pressure can both preserve series continuity and deepen audience empathy. Ultimately, the enduring appeal of Last Man Standing lies not in any fixed cast ensemble, but in its capacity to evolve without losing heart. Characters may come and go, but the creative spirit anchored by humor, open debate, and family bonds remains. Departures became invitations to reimagine the Baxter Table, inviting new ideological guests and fresh storytelling permutations. As television continues to morph in streaming landscapes, the series offers a playbook: embrace change openly, weave business realities into narrative arcs, and treat cast shifts as opportunities for renewed engagement. That multifaceted tapestry of ambition, negotiation, creative daring, and viewer dialogue is the truest reason main characters left and the ultimate legacy Last Man Standing leaves behind.